Welcome back again, guys. Class number 5, well done. How to read a stock code. All right, welcome back to class 5. Today we'll go into more details on how to get started in investing, and one of the first things you really want to know is how to read a stock code. What are some of the resources website that you should know about? As usual, this is our standard disclaimer. So the basic, what is a stock index? So basically most of the stock index is basically a weighted gauge of some of the larger companies within an exchange, and normally they tend to include about 30 companies in the exchange, and just the performance of all these companies combined, and they track it as an index. So some of the more famous index across Southeast Asia and Asia Pacific are maybe the Hong Kong exchange. They use Hang Seng Index. It's basically a market capitalized weighted index of some of the 30 largest company in Hong Kong exchange. Market weighted basically means that the company that has a larger market cap, larger in size, they will have a larger representation within the index itself. Right? Similarly, in Singapore, it's called the Straits Times Index. It's also the index of the 30 of the larger company within Singapore. And in Malaysia, they call it the Kuala Lumpur Composite Index, or KLCI for short. It's also similarly the 30 larger company in Bursa, Malaysia. And some indexes will include all the company within an exchange. For such indexes, it include Indonesia, where their IEX Composite Index includes every single company listed on the exchange, and the performance of all of them on average based on the market capitalization weighted as well. The China Shanghai Composite Index is also a combination of all the companies listed in Shanghai. And these are the differences. In the US, you have all these different type of indexes as well. Some of the more common ones is Dow Jones, S&P 500, the NASDAQ Composite, right? Okay, to start going in, if we are researching on a Singapore stock, or we want to know more about a Singapore company, the best way is to go directly to the Singapore Stock Exchange website, which is right here as sgx.com. They have a function right there called the Stock Facts. You can click on the link and try it out. Basically, if we go into the page and if we go to some of the company information, this is roughly what we will see right here, which have the counter name, SIP code, all this. And we'll go through them one by one and what do they actually mean. So counter name is just the name of the company or the security. SIP is a special type of investment in Singapore where they call it the specified investment products. And this product can only be bought by certified investors, which your brokerage can help you the process of getting certified. Typically, these products include other more complex products like ETN or ETF. And they want to make sure that the investors have to be financially trained to be able to buy this type of securities. But generally, if you're just looking at stocks, it shouldn't be too big an issue. So most likely you'll just disregard that. The code is the specific ticker code for the company, and you can search for the company based on its name or by its ticker. And it's especially useful is if the company has like a few of listed security for the company, something like if they have list some of their debts or some of their warrants and the main company shares, so you can differentiate them by the stock code to make sure that you are not buying the wrong things, right? Here the code here RMK, this basically is just an additional remark column where they will remark on if there's something happening to the company or the stocks at the moment, such as it's being suspended or it's being delisted or it's ex-dividend or ex-bonus shares. This will be highlighted here. Next one is just the last. This is basically showing you the last traded price of the company, and the change is the change for the day. Because percentage is basically the percentage of changes of the share price during that day. Volume is the total number of shares traded that day. So it's calculated in terms of 1,000 shares. So when you have it here, such as OCBC at 2,598.3, is basically meaning that 2.598 million shares have traded for the day. Buy volume is the buying volume that people are bidding for it right now, and what is their buy, as in their bid price. The buy price is also their bid price, and the sell price is the ask price, which is basically the current shareholders, what is the price they're asking for that before they are willing to sell. And the difference between the buy price and the sell price, or you might call it the bid price or the ask price, is basically what we call the spread. So when you look at the first example, OCBC, with a bid price of $10.64 and a sell price of $10.65, you can say that the spread is just 1 cent, which means that the company is quite liquid. It's not a big issue if you want to buy and sell them. And you have the high and low is basically the highest share price it has reached that day and the lowest that it has reached at the same day. You can't see it from this column here, but basically it's showing as value. It is also an indication for the total value of trade executed that day, and it's calculated in Sing dollar. So it means over here, we can just slightly make it out, but it might just means that the total value of trade for OCBC again is about 27 million, which is quite right because the total traded volume of the shares is about 2.6 million, and we are buying and selling at around $10. So the total traded volume is just the product of these two, and about 27 billion. So that's roughly right. Okay, similarly, if we are looking at companies in Malaysia, a good place to look for them is Bursa Malaysia or bursamarketplace.com. Both are websites run by Bursa Malaysia themselves. And similarly, if you go to the stock price column, this is what you will find. And they have roughly similar things as the SGX website, where you have the code, is the ticker code for the company. You will realize that in Malaysia, they typically just use numbers, while Singapore has a combination of numbers and alphabet. If interestingly, for Malaysia, if you see the bracket S symbol, it basically means that it's a Sharia compliant stock. So Islamic funds are able to buy into them. REM is again the remark, where they show you if short selling is actually available for the stock. So you can see that most of the stocks are available for short selling. Short selling, again, for those who might not know, is basically a trade that you might make if you predict that the share price will decline in the future. You will do that by borrowing stocks from the exchange and then selling them before you even own them, and then in hope that you will buy it back at a cheaper price so that to profit the difference. That's basically what short selling is. The next column is last done, which is the last done price of that security, and you have a reference price, which is the last closing price from yesterday, and you will see again the changes of how much it changed today, and changes in percentage, the volume that has traded for that day similarly, and buy volume, how much has people are bidding for it right now, at what price. The buy price is the bid price again, and the sell price is the ask price. And similarly, selling volume is the asking volume of the security at the moment. And they end it with the high and low. The high is the highest price that it has gone to today, and the lowest price that it has gone to today as well. And next is Hong Kong market. Typically, Hong Kong market, you can view the stock information from the Hong Kong Exchange website, or there's this website where I use quite regularly. It's called the aastocks.com, where they provide you with a lot of information of Hong Kong companies. It's a good reference site to start if you're looking at Hong Kong companies. But for this example, we just look at the Hong Kong Exchange page. It's much more simplified compared to what Bursa and SGX has. So you have the stock code again. Hong Kong stocks are also grouped in numbers, and the stock name, their price right now, and how much it has changed today, and the change in percentage. Turnover is basically the total value of trade executed that day. Okay, so how much in dollar term, in Hong Kong dollar term, that has been traded for the stock, and the volume, it's the number of shares that has been traded for that day. If you are looking at stocks and starting to, the first reference place that you might want to go to find information about a company, you might want to go to Google Finance or Yahoo Finance. I use them both interchangeably. It's just to get a quick sense of what the company is, who are its peers, and maybe check out on what are the recent news about the company. So if we look over here, the main bulk of it is you have the share price of the company. If we search for, say, the Singapore Telecommunication, which is the largest company in Singapore, or more commonly known as Singtel, that's the share price of Singtel. Maybe it's trading around $3.76. And we have over here, if you just look right beside it, the little matrix box matrices that it has, range, 52 weeks, low and high, the open, volume, market cap, and things like that. So range is basically the price that the stock has traded in within that day, right? So you can see that it's traded as low as 375 to 376, so it's roughly flat. And 52-week is basically the highest and lowest price that it has traded for the last year. So it has been trading around $5.59 to $4.36 for the past year. The opening price for Singtel on that day. The volume is basically how much shares has been traded that day, and we can compare it with the average. So it has been traded about 3 million for that day, but then the average every day is about 25 million, right? So you roughly know if it's being traded more aggressively or less so. Market cap, it's basically the size of the company right now. So the market is valuing the company at 61.4 billion, right? And the PE is the price to earning ratio of the company, and Google Finance have it at 15.72. Bear in mind the data from Google Finance or Yahoo Finance is not always accurate. It's a good reference point to start looking at, but I will always go back to the annual report of the company and calculate the price to earning myself. And how you do that is just by using the price of the company and divide by the earning per share of the company. You can do it for the last 12 months, or you can do it for just the last financial year, which is a figure not too difficult to find. And over the next column, you have a dividend or yield. So dividend as in the dividend per share of the company, and slash the yield. So this company is yielding about 4.6% to shareholders. And EPS is the earning per share, like we said previously on calculating the PE ratio. And we have the next one is shares, is basically telling us the number of shares outstanding for the company. So Singtel has a share base of 16.33 billion, and each of these share is worth $3.76. And if you multiply these two figures together, you'll get the market cap of 61.4 billion. That's how these three figures relate to each other. Beta is a way that some people use to measure the volatility of a stock. I don't use it that often myself because the volatility of a stock doesn't mean much. And we should really look at the fundamental business risk of the company rather than focusing on the stock volatility of the company. But if you have this data right here, it will range from January 0 to as high as you want, but typically it will be staying roughly around 1, where 1 means that it is just as volatile as the general market, where in Singapore case is the STI. And the last one is Insti-own, is basically a percentage of institutional ownership of the company. But as you can see, sometimes the data is not that accurate, so I would not read too much into that. All right, so that's roughly how we will get started when we find a new stock. Some other resources that I would want to share with you guys are over here on this page. Morningstar is a great free website to use when you are checking out on the financials of a new company. So far, reading through, checking out some of the other websites, I think Morningstar has one of the best data for Asian stocks that are free, unless you want to be starting paying money for other resources or even big money for like Capital IQ or Bloomberg. Morningstar is a good place to start. Sometimes Morningstar has an issue with searching for the stock directly in the website itself. So how I go around this problem is I'll type in the company name or the ticker, and I search it in Google. So I'll search the company name on Google plus Morningstar. So if I'm looking for a company like, say, Tenaga National, I'll type in Tenaga National Berhad Morningstar on Google. And typically I'll see the link where it helps me to go to find the financials of the company on Morningstar. Another website that I use is Share Investor. It's a database services, but it's not free. So I'm paying, I think, about around $200 for a year. And it has quite a few data points and information about companies. And I find it generally quite useful. I don't use it a lot, but it's a good option to have as well. Other things, you can just look at news site like Bloomberg, CNBC, Wall Street Journal, If you just search the company on this website, you can find some information as well. Or just ask your broker. Most brokerage has or software or online platform where they provide some form of data for you as well for your research. So do check out all these resources, and it might help you in your research. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next class. Hi, my name is Stanley. I just want to thank you for watching our video. If you like it, do share with all your friends. And if you have not signed up for our course yet, do sign up down below, and you'll get all the links to the write-up, to the PDF, and also to the videos. So get ready for next class. I'll see you then.